Well, hello everyone. This is the lesson on threes, take 2. I tried doing this differently earlier this morning, and thanks to someone who pointed out that I was really not understandable because of the quality of the recording, I am doing it again. So I'm sorry to everyone who tried to watch this earlier and it was an ordeal. But we are going to talk about threes today. We're in the heart triad, the feelings triad. Last week, remember, the gut triad is dealing with anger and how to cope with injustice and conflict in the world. And the heart triad is learning how to deal with their emotions in relation to their own value and identity. The heart triad is trying to locate themselves, to establish who they are. What is their identity? And we learned that the twos try to find that in relationships by becoming the helper that everyone needs. Well, threes are different. They are trying to secure their identity through success. They are what they do. They are in it to win it, and they are seeking external validation for those things that they accomplish. So they want to have the title, they want to have the medal, they want to be the best. And it is in order to secure some sense of value and worth and to try to create themselves through their work. Now, because they are seeking to do in order to be, they can wear 1,000 masks. That was kind of their code that was in the book. They can wear 1,000 masks. They can be social chameleons, but they don't really know who they are until they are willing to take off all the masks, lay down all the tasks, and really seek to examine themselves and what it is that they enjoy or need or want or feel. Because the feelings in this case, if you recall, I'll click this over here, each triad has 3 ways of dealing with their stuff. There is the external, against you or towards you kind of reaction. There's the internal, within me kind of reaction, and there's the resistant or zeroed out reaction. Well, in this triad, the 3, the performer, is the person who resists emotions. They are much more task-oriented rather than feelings-oriented. And they will compartmentalize and put their emotions aside in order to finish the job. Now, anything that is put aside will come out sideways at some point. So threes can have breakdowns. They can have enough. They can have emotion, but usually it makes them very uncomfortable. And they are much easier at reading someone else's emotions if it is beneficial to their success. So relationships are hard with threes because they're not necessarily willing to go deep. Now, they may listen to you and hear your thoughts and feelings and problems, but unless they have a 4-wing or 2-wing, it depends on what kind of wing they have, the level of interaction that is authentic that they will have with you. Because the sin of a 3 is deceit. And usually that is self-deception. They become everyone in the universe in order to become the best, in order to have their value and their worth through the approval of what they have done. But deception is kind of how that happens. They are fluid. They chameleate between roles and relationships in order to accomplish whatever it is that is needed. One example of this would be if a three were working and someone comes to the door and says, I have a problem, I need to talk to you about it. Do you have time? If it was relevant to the project or task that the three was working on, yes, come in. If it was their boss, hence relative to their success in their position, yes, come in. But if it's just someone who is having this emotion and they need help, it is less likely for a three to engage in emotion because they are task oriented. They need to move forward with what is happening rather than stop for anyone or anything. Of course, there are challenges with that. So being in relationship with a three is hard. Of course, at work, they are successful. They are workaholics. They are success driven because, again, the more that they do, the more value that they have. They are not just earning a paycheck. They are earning their own self-worth. So it's really important to them to complete their goals and accomplish their tasks. Let's see. Let me come over to the slide so that we can look at it. So here, if you want to take a screenshot of it, this is everything about a three. We've talked about a code. Another code that a three might relate to is fake it till you make it, because they know how to show up and be the person that is needed in the situation to be successful. Remember, the key is accomplishment, achieving. Somewhere down the line when they were children, someone told them in some form or fashion that accomplishing, that doing well, they get 100 on a grade, they win a race or whatever it is that they did well, they were praised and encouraged in that, and that fed their sense of well-being and security and value and worth. And so they said, this is it. This is what I must do. I must achieve in order to get that response, in order to feel good. Because the wounding message was you don't have your own identity. You don't have your own feelings. You are an expression of the activity. And it's really hard to be a three because you are only as good as your last accomplishment. And the feeling of accomplishment is very short-lived because they're always on to the next thing. So there's not a lot of satisfaction that comes necessarily to an average or unhealthy three because the list never ends, because they are always having to fill up the value within themselves that is not there. They just do not see themselves as people of worth or value. And this is their continual task to overcome, to be able to learn that they are worthy of love. That is the healing message. You are loved. God made you in the image of God for the glory of God, and you are beloved by God. That is what is needed to be learned to become whole and well as a three. And speaking of that, a good verse for a three to internalize is Zephaniah 3:17. I like the NIV, and it goes like this. The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. He will take great delight in you. He will quiet you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing. So that is a wonderful affirmation of God's value of you. Some people may argue and say, well, Zephaniah is talking about Jerusalem and the children of Israel. But I say that Jesus Christ is the bridge to the Old Testament. And because Christ makes all of us in the lineage of Abraham, we can also claim those wonderful things of the Old Testament, of God's dialogue with the nation of Israel. Sorry, theological hat was on. Take it off. Let's see. We talked about the code. We've talked about as children. We've talked about relationships and work. We've talked about wounding and healing. Let's talk about stress and security. Oh, and we did talk about deceit. So that's good. Stress and security. So if a 3 is under stress, they go to the dark side of the 9. Remember, the 9 is the person who has the inner sanctum to keep their peace, and they withdraw from the world and are easily distracted by things. They don't have their own agenda. So a 3 under stress goes to a 9, shuts down, turtles, finds their inner sanctum, and they will busy themselves with a task that is not what they need to be doing, but because it's a task, they are earning their value, so they will feel like they're accomplishing something. It's legitimate, but they are not focusing on what it is that they need to do. Now, a stressful situation with a 3 usually has to do with emotions. They will avoid, remember, they are emotion resistant, feelings resistant. So they will go to the 9 when something happens that creates an unsettlement in their soul that would actually make them feel something that is their own. It's startling and scary, and so they go to the 9. Now, there are obviously other things that could cause stress, but it's usually has to do with emotions. So the healthier a 3, the more aware of who they are and how God made them to be, the better able they are to feel their own feelings. Now, in terms of reading other people's emotions, I think I already said that they're good at that because it helps them to navigate the system and to fulfill what it is that needs to be done. Let's see. So we talked about stress security. Security, they take on the benefit of being a 6. So they're a little bit more laid back. They're not so task-oriented. They can see a bigger picture. They can wonder about what might need to happen, what some possibilities are without having to make a list to do so. They can enjoy people as people and not as part of the project. And at the same time, again, if they are, the unhealthier they are, they can take on or go to the dark side of a 6 as well, which means they have anxiety. And I was telling you about that whole idea of the brief moment of finishing a task for a 3, the little sense of accomplishment. Oftentimes, when a 3 finishes a project, instead of going, yeah, that's awesome, woohoo, good job, they can't do that for themselves. Someone else has to do that for them. They have to learn how to appreciate and celebrate their own accomplishments. And instead, there is a sense of panic. There is oh my gosh, I don't have something to do. What am I going to do? I don't know. And there's anxiety because they have finished the list. Being without a project is very threatening to a 3. So there's this oxymoron of you're done, that should feel good. 6, anxiety, what if? No, there is none. So anyways, blessings on 3s. They have much to discover about themselves and to overcome. We all do. And 3s have their own things. So if you're a 3, hang in there. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You can learn to love yourself. You can learn to value yourself because you have value. So hang in there. Let's see. A 3 with a 4 wing. The 3 with a 4 wing, we haven't met a 4 yet, but they tend to be able to access their emotions a little bit better, which can be a blessing and a curse in terms of using their emotions to get what they want. So a 3 can read a situation, especially a younger 3, and if tears will get them out of something or get them to be the beneficiary of something, they will do it. You can spot a child 3 pitching a fit and going calm in an instant when they receive whatever it is that they are after. So, they can use emotions to be successful. So that's the dark side. Remember that deception, the ability to take on whatever is needed to do what it is that they want to do. Now, a 3 with a 2 wing is more relationally aware, and that can be good. They can be drawn to encouraging others in the context of their work. The dark side of that is they will compete. They are fierce competitors if you have a 2 wing, because it's relationship, but for a 3, it's not about your relationships, it's about what you do. So in that relationship, they will compare, and they're going to be the mom at the park saying, well, little Johnny got into this preschool. What is your child going to get into? And so it's this constant, here's what we're doing in order to feel that achievement and approval. So let me come back here again just to check off everything. Make sure that I have covered what I need to cover. We've talked about compartmentalization. We've talked about relationships. We've talked about chameleating. We've talked about external validation. All right, I think that is everything. If you have questions, let me know. If you want to be part of the Zoom call, let me know. Email me at pastor@fumcjacksboro.org if you would like to be on that Zoom call. For wherever you are on the Enneagram, I pray that you are learning to love yourself and that you are learning to love others. So be blessed, and I